Alright, so welcome back to another video. So today's video is another Promaster van conversion video, and we're going to be focusing on something a little bit different. So all my other videos kind of focused on the camper side of the van, but what about the chassis itself? Maybe some of the shortcomings that come along with owning a Ram Promaster based vehicle, whether you have a Winnebago Travato or a self-built conversion like this. So one of my biggest gripes with the van has been the driving position. So we have our swivel seats, and I went ahead and purchased the modified lower seat brackets, and that made a big difference in the seating height, because before I was too high and I was looking too high through the windshield. So that helped a lot. My only complaint now is, in order for my legs to not be cramped, I have to have the seat far enough back that it makes it an awkward reach to the steering wheel because of the angle. And as we all know, with our ProMasters, they have a telescoping wheel, but there's no way to tilt the wheel. And that's a huge oversight on, Chrysler's part, in my opinion, and many others. So I'm going to show you today a little modification that you can do to your vehicle. And I will say, full disclaimer, this is at your own risk. I'm just showing something I did to my vehicle, and I'm not telling you you should do this to your vehicle. So just to get that out there. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you there is a way to add a little bit of downward tilt to the steering wheel. Again, it will be important. Some people have done this mod, have lost the ability to telescope the steering wheel after doing so. So that's not really my issue. I like having it out pretty much as far as possible. I just want it tilted down a little bit. Can't tilt it down too far because we don't want to block the gauges, but it would feel a little bit more natural, like a car, instead of feeling like a bus driver like I am now, because like I said, my arm is completely locked to reach the top of the steering wheel, and that's not very comfortable, especially in a long drive. Alright, so there's a couple pieces of plastic that will be helpful to have out of the way. So we're under the steering wheel. This bottom cover here, there is actually a kind of a Phillips head screw up here and up here that come out kind of towards the top. We have a third screw over here. Alright, you can kind of see, once we have this plastic off, we'll set that out of the way. It's also how you can gain access to this fuse panel here. Okay, so now look at that lower piece of plastic out. We need to remove this under plastic on this steering column here. Let's see how many screws that takes. It's like an Allen key. So it appears that this is a number 3 Allen key here, metric. Use power tools if you have them. So there's 4 of these. I'm just gonna kind of work it. Alright, so after a little bit of just working that, you'll get it out. Now we can see exactly the 4 bolts, well, and nuts that we need to get to. So down here you can see there's a couple bolts, one on each side. Those are just going to be loosened a little bit. And then up here you can see there's a nut in this stud right here on both sides. So basically this is what is bolting the whole column up into place. If we loosen that nut and then loosen those bolts in there, it will allow the whole column to drop. Okay, so here's our U-joint here. Don't worry, we're only going to be able to drop this about 3/8 of an inch before we run out of threads here. So it's not like we're going to be making that big of an adjustment that we're going to cause any binding or anything like that. So all we're really doing is lowering, and you can do, you know, some washers. You can go to the hardware store. Most people buy like some kind of little spacer, like a metal spacer would probably be best since it's the steering column. Or you can even just use a nut, you know, on the back side of the stud. And I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. But that's basically how easy this is. Just once we get this off and get access to everything here, you can kind of see what we're going to be doing now. So this is a 13. So I'm just going to loosen this up a little bit. Okay, so they're still on the threads, that way column does not drop. And here I might not be able to use power tool, let's see. Once these are loose, we can just kind of guess we'll go ahead and take them all the way out, just because might have to kind of pry on the column a little bit. All right, so I'm holding, you can't see with my left hand, I'm holding onto the steering wheel. I do not want this column going all over the place. You can see it's pretty loose here. You want to make sure you don't pull it out of the U-joint or anything like that. Okay, so the column, as you can see now, is loose, and we can kind of pull it down, and we'll be able to slip some sort of spacer on the back of there. You can go buy some spacers, or like in my case, I had these nuts, and the key is that they are bigger than the stud, and they measure 3/8 of an inch, so it should work. So what I need to do is kind of pull the column down to where I can get this in there. And then push it up. So I got that one started. So just so you can see what's going on, I want you to see that this shaft just slides up and down on top of that. So you could literally just pull this whole column right out. That easy. So it's not a big deal. You can't mess it up. It's a square shaft. So don't worry if it comes loose a little bit. Alright, I'll get this side pushed up. It might help to, once you get the spacer and you can put your top bottom bolts, get them started back in. Kind of hold everything in place. Get these tightened down. See, the tilt still kind of works, but the problem is just there's just a little bit of a interference with the plastic. So if you try to put it all the way down, it would make it kind of difficult, but that's it. But now we can kind of go ahead and just try it out, see if it feels any different. All right, so if it was down any further, it would block our view, there's my eye level, of the gauges. So get where I would drive at here. Not a huge difference, but definitely a improvement, as you can see. So let me do the test again. So my arm, remember it was locked out before. So you can see there's a bend in my elbow now. So that's the difference. Not bad for about 5 minutes worth of work. All right, so obviously we're gonna put a plastic back on, and then last thing to do is take it for a test drive, see what you think. Like I said, 5-minute job here, pretty easy, even for the inexperienced non-mechanic types. Just make sure you tighten everything down good. Obviously you don't want your steering column coming loose on you. Again, this is at your own risk. I don't necessarily endorse this mod, but I just wanted to show you how to do it in case it's something you wanted to do. Sure to like the video if it helped you out. Subscribe for more ProMaster videos. Leave a comment below if you have a question or just a comment. Let me know what you think. Again, you can always use a smaller spacer, like a 1/4 inch, for a little bit less effect. Just try it out, see what you think. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll see you later.